Hey guys, welcome to this video where I'm going to try and show you how to use two big lenses at the same time when working at pitchside, such as these two, and just how you go about juggling them so you can use them both simultaneously, as well as probably wiring for images from a laptop or whatever other tasks you may have to do. When shooting sport, where there is a requirement for two lenses at the same time, especially when we're talking a big fixed prime lens like this and also a telephoto zoom like this, it can be really tricky to handle them both and still get the images that you need to get without hampering yourself by having to pick one up and put one down as action changes and the game flows towards you or moves away from you again. Now, when I shoot football, as with a lot of sports photographers, I will have a big lens like this. This is the Canon EF 400mm f2.8 lens, the Mark 1. Some photographers will have a 300, a 400 or a 600. And they're also going to have something a little bit shorter for the close-up action, such as this 70 to 200mm here. Now, also photographers, as I said, they might have a laptop. They might also have another body with a wide-angle lens on. That will usually be sat down next to them in case of things like celebrations or shots that are maybe artistic for general views or when the action is really up tight and close to them.
First things first, you're going to need a monopod, and a pretty sturdy one at that. This is probably the most important tool in making all of this possible, a monopod on which to mount the big prime lens using its lens collar. Right now I'm using a Canon 400mm f2.8 lens, and it's absolutely beautiful. But it's also the Mark 1, meaning not only is it a bit old, but it also weighs in at an eye-watering 11.8 pounds or nearly 5.5 kilos. That's the same weight as 5.5 bags of sugar, or more than half a kilo heavier than this 2021 24-inch Apple iMac. So yeah, it's pretty heavy. To support that weight, you're going to need some help, and the monopod is perfect to give you that help. It gives you the maneuverability you need while also supporting the bulk of the weight to allow you to get on with handling the rest of your gear and doing the job at hand. Okay, now with the smaller lens and body, that 70 to 200, I leave that on a neck strap of the camera and have that around my neck at all times. There are also harnesses you can get that some guys I know shoot with that allow you to kind of clip the 70 to 200 lens and body to yourself, to your body while you're shooting so that you can never drop it, but I'd still prefer to go with the neck option at this point, and I haven't tried the alternative. So the 70 to 200 around your neck, it's time to sit down and get ready to shoot. Now, I almost exclusively shoot football or soccer these days, and so I'd usually sit to either side of the goal. The big old 400mm on the monopod I would have on the outside side of the pitch, so if the goal is over to my left, as it is in this shot here, I will keep the 400mm on my right side so I don't block my own shot if something happens in the goal area over to my left. I hope that makes sense. So I alter the height on my monopod so that it's sitting level about with my eyes, meaning no tweaking of height is required if I want to take shots with this during the game. It also allows me in most instances to have the camera body marginally above my shoulder, meaning when I'm using the 70 to 200mm, the 400mm or the monopod that kind of holds the 400mm rests neatly on my right shoulder. That allows me to quickly and easily grab the 400 and begin shooting with that when required, while also giving me a relatively quick way of putting it down if I need to switch back to the 70 to 200 quickly. For instance, if there's a counterattack or the action suddenly switches to something much closer. The last trick with the monopod I want to mention is that I usually try to hook my leg around it as well, and this gives it a little bit of extra stability and makes it less likely that I will drop it or that it will slip on wet ground. When working on sporting events, especially those that are outdoors and take place through, say, the winter months like soccer in the UK does, the floor or the conditions can regularly be slippery, muddy and icy and wet, meaning the more support you can give the monopod and the 400mm lens on top of it, the safer that equipment will be. So here you see that the relatively seamless switch between the two setups during the game, and with enough practice, it does get quite easy at times. Familiarity is really everything with it. Now, for added confusion, you may also be working on a laptop sending images, and you ideally don't want to put your cameras down in case something happens. In this scenario, I would usually keep the 400mm resting on my shoulder, maybe with my right arm around it to help secure it, and have the 70 to 200mm just dangling freely or hanging freely around my neck and this leaves my left hand free to work on the laptop, do some simple edits, which is usually on my camera case at a suitable height. As you can see, this does take a lot of practice, and as I mentioned, familiarity with your kit is vital. I've been using 2-camera, 2-lens setup for about 5 years now, probably a bit longer, and sometimes I still find it tricky if I'm shooting somewhere unfamiliar or with less than favourable conditions. So I hope this has been useful. A very quick look at how you can use 2 camera bodies and 2 lenses at the same time during a sporting event. Feel free to drop in the comments below how you do it, or if you've got any suggestions or tips in doing so. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love you to subscribe to my channel. I recently passed 1,000 subscribers, which kind of blows me away really. But whether you subscribe or not, I still hope to see you on the next video.